Warren Buffett. I mean, the name itself is legendary, right? But how did a guy from Omaha, Nebraska become maybe the greatest investor the world has ever seen? Well, I can tell you it wasn't by using some crazy complex algorithm or by frantically day trading. Nope, it was something else entirely. So let's dive in and really decode the surprisingly simple but man, profoundly powerful principles of the Warren Buffett way.
Okay, this quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of everything. Forget about the daily chatter, the ups and downs of the stock market. Buffett is playing a completely different game. His entire goal is to figure out what a business is truly worth. That's its intrinsic value, totally separate from its stock price, and then just watch that real value grow and grow over the long haul. So you know that image you have in your head of a Wall Street trading floor? Screens flashing everywhere, phones ringing off the hook, just total chaos? Okay, now just erase that from your mind. Buffett's office in Omaha is famously quiet. We're talking no stock tickers, no wall of computers cluttering up his desk. And that just begs the billion-dollar question. If he's completely ignoring all the noise from the market, what in the world is he paying attention to?
See, to really get Buffett, you have to understand his teachers. His genius wasn't about inventing some brand new method out of thin air. Not at all. It was about his brilliant ability to combine two very different, you could almost say opposing, philosophies about investing.
So on one side, you've got his professor, the legendary Benjamin Graham. Now, Graham was all about the numbers, the quantitative stuff. He famously hunted for what he called cigar butts. You know, companies that were so beaten down and cheap, they basically had one last puff of profit left in them. But on the other side, you have Philip Fisher and, of course, Buffett's partner Charlie Munger. They were focused on quality. Their whole thing was finding these truly wonderful, amazing businesses with great management and just fantastic long-term potential, even if you had to pay a fair price for them.
And this right here was the huge shift in Buffett's thinking, and we have Charlie Munger to thank for it. Munger is the one who convinced him to merge these two big ideas. He basically said, Warren, why don't we apply Graham's super strict discipline about price, but apply it to the fantastic, high-quality businesses that Fisher loves? And boom, that fusion, buying wonderful companies at a fair price, became the absolute core of his legendary style.
So, did it work? Well, this one number tells the whole story. For 40 years, Berkshire Hathaway's value grew at an absolutely astonishing 22.2% compounded annually. That is the kind of staggering power you get when you buy wonderful companies at a fair price and just hold on.
Okay, so we get the philosophy, but how does he actually do it? You know, how does he put it into practice day to day? Well, that brings us to his playbook, the core tenets he uses to analyze any company he's looking at.
Buffett basically breaks down his analysis into these four key areas. He looks at the business itself, the people running it, the financials, and of course the market value. For our purposes, we're going to zero in on the absolute foundation, the business tenets. Because you know, for Buffett, if the business itself isn't right, nothing else even matters. These are the big questions he's asking. First, is this business simple and can I understand it? Buffett famously stays away from anything he can't easily explain. Second, has it been doing the same thing consistently for a long time? He's looking for stability, not some risky turnaround story. And third, and this is so important, does it have favorable long-term prospects? Is it going to be a great business 10, 20, even 30 years from now?
And that last question about long-term prospects, that leads us straight to Buffett's most famous concept of all, the economic moat. He also calls this a business franchise. The idea is actually pretty simple. You know how a moat protects a castle from invaders? Well, a great business has a durable competitive advantage, a wide moat that protects its profits from all the competitors trying to get in. And this just illustrates it perfectly. I mean, look at Coca-Cola. It's a super simple product. It has a history that goes way back to the 1880s, and it's protected by maybe the most powerful brand in the world. That's a moat. Or See's Candies, a beloved brand that people are incredibly loyal to. These aren't flashy, complicated companies. They are durable, easy-to-understand businesses with really deep moats.
Okay, so you found a wonderful business. You're all set, right? Nope, not even close. There's another huge piece to this puzzle, and it has absolutely nothing to do with balance sheets or income statements. It's all about psychology. Buffett believes that your temperament, not your intellect, is the single most important quality for an investor.
Let's be honest, the stock market is just a frenzy of fear and greed. Prices swing like crazy based on news, rumors, just pure emotion. So how in the world do you keep your head when it seems like everyone else is losing theirs? Well, Ben Graham had this brilliant way of teaching this exact thing.
To explain this, Graham came up with this little story about a character named Mr. Market. He told his students to imagine that every time you buy a piece of a business, you get a partner who comes along with it. And, well, his name is Mr. Market.
Now here's the thing about your new partner. Mr. Market is, well, he's a little unstable. Some days he's just completely euphoric. He sees nothing but blue skies ahead, and he'll offer to buy your share of the business for a ridiculously high price. But then other days, he is deeply, deeply depressed. He's terrified, he sees only doom and gloom, and on those days, he'll offer to sell you his share for a ridiculously low price.
And Graham's warning here is crystal clear. If you let Mr. Market's moods infect your own, if you get greedy when he's happy, or you start to panic when he's depressed, you have completely missed the point. You've just given away your single greatest advantage as an investor, your own independent thinking.
And here is the secret weapon. You don't have to listen to him. His job is to serve you, not to guide you. A smart investor just ignores him on his manic days, but on his depressed days, they happily take advantage of his pessimism, buying up a wonderful business when he's practically giving it away. See, Mr. Market's mood swings, they create your opportunity.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. When you combine that deep analytical approach with that rock-solid psychological discipline, you land on the single most important idea in Buffett's entire world.
This is it. This is the whole game. You have to stop thinking about stocks as these little blips on a screen that you trade back and forth. You have to start thinking of them for what they really are. They are partial ownership of a real business. When you buy one share of Coca-Cola, you are buying a tiny piece of that entire global company. And that mindset, it changes everything.
So, if we boil it all down, here it is. Think like you're buying the whole company, not just trading a stock. Look for those amazing businesses with those wide, durable economic moats. Let Mr. Market's crazy emotional swings serve you. Use them as opportunities to buy, not as a reason to sell. And above all else, be patient. The goal is to own great businesses for years, not for days or weeks.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this one question. You really have to ask yourself, am I playing the market or am I buying a business? Your answer to that question is going to determine everything about the kind of investor you are and the kind of results you can expect. It is the fundamental difference between just speculating and truly investing. And for Warren Buffett, that difference has been worth billions.